Contact tracing continues for the remaining 130 passengers of Etihad flight EY0424 for testing for the deadly Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus or MERS-CoV. Based on the report of the Department of Health, 157 out of the 414 passengers of the Etihad Airways flight have been found negative of the virus. This report by Freddie Abando.
The Department of Health has been conducting its contact tracing of all passengers on board an Etihad flight that arrived from the United Arab Emirates for almost a week. The good news, not one of those quarantined and tested for the Middle East Respiratory Corona Syndrome was positive for. It means no outbreak. The health alert was triggered by a nurse passenger exposed to a Filipino who died of the virus in Abu Dhabi. Based on a status report submitted by Health Secretary Enrique Ona to the President as of 1:30 this afternoon, of the 414 total passengers, 327 were contacted. That's 79%, 69.3% were tested. 291 were Filipinos, 36 of 45 foreigners were contacted, 3 were tested for nose and swab. There were 66 pending swab test results. The Philippine National Police was deployed to convince several passengers who refused testing to be brought to government hospitals. 42 passengers without contact details are being traced.
That is the advice that we have given them through our ambassador. And we also ask her to be aggressive in informing our Filipino workers in the Middle East, especially at the United Arab Emirates, to make sure that if any of them is being tested for the virus, and if any of them has been in contact with somebody who got sick with the MERS virus, then they should not travel to the Philippines until such time that those tests are shown or proves to be negative.
The quarantine and tests were conducted in government hospitals nationwide since most of the passengers are from the provinces. In Metro Manila and surrounding regions, San Lazaro, the Long Center, and the Research Institute for Tropical Medicine bore the brunt of the lab tests. In the meantime, Secretary Ona bear that all embassies in the Middle East have been instructed to inform OFWs to report if they are sick before returning to the country. Ona stressed the system will be put in place to monitor regularly the health status of all overseas Filipino workers working in these countries.
All of them are negative, meaning that not one of them has the virus. And so therefore, the country remains free of the MERS coronavirus. As of last night also, we identified 2 other patients who came from separate flights during the just during the Holy Week. One of which was a nurse who had an appendectomy that developed certain fever after the operation. But since she also came from the Middle East, she had herself tested. And both of these, the other patient that I mentioned, also were negative.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.